On a quiet street, a heavy dark blue door stood ajar in a badly lit recess. Through the cracked and blistered paint, the many-colored past incarnations of the door and the rooms that it stood to protect attempted to burst through. Time was their weapon. Using heat guns and acid, creating this look of antiquity was a lucrative business for painters and artists in the shiny suburb of San Francisco from where the Signor came. He waited just on the other side of this blue door, to whom time was the artist. Having been so inspired by the fall of the Berlin Wall, and full of the enthusiasm that only comes with youth, he came to this tiny hamlet in East Germany looking forward to riches and the new frontier that still eluded him. But he had this place with its blue door and his four. With them he had all the fame and fortune he could attain in this life. All within the confines of the four walls and the blue door, where time rested motionless within. To the four he was everything. He had made them, perfected them, and metered them out, each one perfectly matched to the mood or needs of his customers. He created them anew, adding an aroma or something to catch the eye, but even then they were always the same. Night after night, customer after customer, ageless. Time couldn't see them. Of the four, Sambina was the flirt. Top-heavy, petite, bubbly, sweet, often recommended by the Signor to start off an evening or a party. Sambina would be brought to one of the many nooks and niches that ran along the four walls, mostly sent to break in the inexperienced, calm the shy, and start the giggles. Sambina would soon be retrieved by the Signor, empty, spent, dirty, something to be cleaned. As if groping hands or unwanted lips had never existed, reappearing exactly as before, effervescent, light-hearted, and full of what the night had to offer. At another table, Sambina rode time back and forth. The workhorse of the four was described as wide and exotic, conjuring images of what was possible in a tropical paradise. Able to lay waste to whole groups at a time, Tanja was a flare of tropical colors and always greeted with oohs and ahs and cheers when brought by the Signor. The tables where Tanja worked the parties were left in a terrible mess, wet and sticky, strewn with remainders of the raucous debauchery. But the Signor happily cleaned and decorated the booth or table, for he knew more were to come. Time provided all opportunity. Mocha was dark, warm, relaxing, and to some, amused. The Signor sent Mocha to the serious types, those that huddled in groups, debating the fate of the world or some such nonsense, or those that looked diagonally up and out into the space that didn't exist within these four walls. Mocha would sit quietly waiting, sometimes ignored, but would always return to the Signor with nothing left inside, dirty as the others. Mocha moved time slowly. And finally, tall, slender, with no frills, and an elegance that comes from simplicity, Dora was the most powerful of the four. The Signor brought Dora to those who wanted to get lost from the day just past, who wanted to forget the unforgettable, or just wanted to get nailed really fast. Dora was purpose-built for that. Time spun when Dora was near. The heavy blue door opened and a lone business type made for the closest empty booth. Slumping into it, he looked slow round until his gaze fell onto the Signor. "Signor's place, huh? You the Signor?" he asked. "Yep, that's me. Welcome." "You don't look like a Signor," he said to the fair-haired man before him. And like the thousands of times before this, Signor answered. "I was telling somebody about my trip to the Bahamas, and some drunk at the end of the bar asked, 'How are the senoritas, Signor?' and waited for the inevitable grin or snort. The moment passed. 'How about a gin and tonic?' 'I'm sorry,' the Signor answered. 'I only have the drinks up there on the menu.' He paused and added, 'You look like you've had a long day. I think Dora should do the trick.'"